This is, we're going to talk about mobile technology. I want to encourage you, if you have a laptop, a phone, a tablet, go ahead and kind of get it out. You might want to go ahead and connect to the South Denver Wireless. That way, if you want to go ahead and get out of that, there's going to be one little thing I'm going to do that's going to require internet. So your cellular might not be connected. And I'll just save you a little frustration to go ahead and be ready. My name is Bradon Lewis. I am an academic technologist for CU Online. I am, one of the many roles that I do is not only create videos like you just saw, but also in I almost said Blackboard, the Canvas admin. I also assess new technology tools, not toys, and help faculty learn how to use these tools, learn how colleges and businesses can use these tools for basically any CU Online program or an actual individual course with a faculty member. Well, a large part of my role is if you have a technology need or something that you're curious about, I'm here to partner with you. To be able to help you with the tool, to develop the tool, to possibly see if how can our little pilot working with you on this new technology, how does it affect everybody else? And so a lot of the experiences that I get out of these sessions that I'm talking about come from me actually working alongside faculty and students, seeing what actually works best in the real world. In this session, we're going to be talking about branching out into mobile technology. One of the most important things about this is first to go through and say, as faculty, you guys are amazing to be teaching nowadays. Because unlike before when we did like remote learning sessions where you sent the exact material to them and you knew exactly what they had and exactly how they saw it, we're now in an age where you as faculty members have no clue what your students are actually perceiving that they're doing. You have some assumptions that they're going to use a desktop computer with internet and Word, but that doesn't always happen. And so oftentimes when you're teaching online is you have to make a lot of assumptions, and the reality is they don't always come true because students could be doing any number of things. And so we live in an age to where technology is kind of bridging the gap of giving everyone options, and part of that is with mobile technology. One of the things I'm going to first ask you is when you hear the word mobile technology, what do you think of? Phone, cell phone. What else?
Tablets.
I'm sorry, what? Tablets. I would say some things people talk is apps. So when you hear of mobile, they think of, oh, I'm going to use apps. And that's all correct. Basically what it comes out to is we live in an age where you have so many different devices. Like for me right now, I have a tablet, a phone, and a laptop with me. All essentially doing the same thing, but they all do it slightly differently. Before we get started, I'm actually going to jump into a Kahoot. How many of you have ever seen a Kahoot, know what it is? Got 1, 2, 3. Okay, perfect. What you're going to be able to do, this is an online quiz that anyone can join by simply going to Kahoot.com and entering this pin right here at the top. Now, what's great about this little setup is this can be done in class or online. What's happening in the background is actually a YouTube video that's going to be giving you all the answers to the quiz that we're about to take. And as we do this Kahoot, you actually are going to see how other people are scoring individually, how you're doing overall, but it doesn't necessarily give away whether you got the right questions right or wrong. But what you're doing is you're going through this information. So whether this is for an in-person class here, a hybrid classroom, like if I have people on another campus, or even if this is recorded online, people can get the same experience no matter what time they have by simply either getting the Kahoot app or going to the website on any type of device they have. Phone, tablet, computer.
Orbits a sun.
So go ahead, if I can have everyone go ahead and go to Kahoot.com, get on the app, and type this PIN number in here. And as you see you're coming in, your names are popping up. You don't have to use your real name. You can use an alias. You can use your best friend to blame them for all the questions they get. You can choose your favorite sports team. This is purely a way to review the information.
It has craters, big holes.
Sorry, QIT. What is it?
It has no air.
That worked.
It does not have water.
So, just because there's a YouTube video right here, when you're setting these up, you don't have to use a YouTube video. This is just a kind of example of what I'm doing. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start it. If you're not in it, don't worry about it. You can actually join in whenever you want. But I'm going to start the quiz. Here's the first question about the moon. And it's going to pop up, what do we call the moon when it's a 3/4 trip around the Earth? Then you're going to have the ability on your phone to put in your answer. So go ahead right now, put your answer in. You got a couple time left. We got a couple, 3, 4, 5 answers you see right here on the side that people have answered. Time's almost running up, so hurry up and get your answers in.
You get more points for answering faster, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? All right, so here's a number of people who got all the answers on here. And then here's the leaderboard right now. Let's go to the next question. What term is used when the amount of the moon we can see is increasing?
I don't have any of these questions on mine.
Just have the icon.
So
you look up-
just the icon.
Yes, so it's up here, and you just simply type the icons in that match those.
Oh, so you don't have those with the words?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, here's the number of people who got it. You got 2 here, 17. No one thinks it's bright. I wonder why. Uh-oh, we got something clearing out here. All right, let's go to the next question. What do we call the moon when it's less than half full? Skinny. To give a little background of this quiz right here, I actually did not make this Kahoot. This is someone that someone else made, and I just copied it. You also can go through there, create your own quiz, create your own steps. We have this. You guys, you're on a perfect streak up there. You're fast and you're accurate. So you can actually go through and find all the different quizzes you want, or make your very own. Let's go on the next one. What is a term used to describe the moon as an amount? See when it gets smaller.
Did you do the wrong one?
I did. Dang it. Trying to be fast.
Keep in mind, this can be done through Zoom. If you wanted to, just share your screen so everyone can see it. They're on their phones. You're not tied to any one location. Wow. So some people think it's waxing. Why not dimming? Someone's got to knock them off.
I'm trying.
It's getting close.
I promise I'm going to read something very soon.
All right, here, the pressure's on. The pressure's on. Here's the question. How long does it take the moon to revolve around the Earth?
Oh, I missed that one on purpose.
Likely so.
Sure you did.
I also teach high schoolers, and this gets super rowdy with high schoolers.
Yes. This is really a tool that's meant for K through 12 because they get really into it. But I also would say if you probably had a classroom of 100 students in this, in any college room, it would get pretty intense. Uh-oh. Wow, you got knocked off all the way.
Moving on up. This could be a broad question.
The moon and Earth are different because. This is kind of a trick question.
It is. There are multiple correct answers.
I bet you there are multiple correct answers.
I bet you're right. Oh.
And because of how it's not showing you the answers, but you can actually go through and tell it to show the answers and give a little bit more detail. You also can go through and explain the answers afterwards. So you can leave everyone a mystery and go, I wonder why you got that wrong. Maybe you should read your article again. So pretty. Yeah, someone did pretty.
I'm out of it.
Okay. So we got a different leaderboard here.
I didn't say give you, so I go back.
We got a 3 in a row back on the bottom. That's great.
Round.
Another trick question. And I'm going to go ahead and skip a couple of these questions because I think you guys have gotten an idea. This is what I call the basics of mobile education. It is an exercise that it doesn't matter where you're located, doesn't matter what you're using, it doesn't matter how you go about it. It's simply a way to review what you've learned and to share it as a classroom. And so when I'm phrasing what is mobile technologies, this to me is the best example of mobile, because it really is saying we want to share this learning experience with you regardless of where you're at or what you're using. And then let's have a little fun along the way. Let's actually have a point systems with it. Again, if you want to try this with one of your courses, whether it's online or even an in-person course, I would encourage you to do it. Have fun with it. Have whoever gets a top points gets 10 extra credits, or gets to leave early for some odd reason, or gets to go on a coffee run. Have fun with that, just to have a little bit different experience. And of course, at any time, I can go back on here and claim the results of 10, 8 out of 8. You're just showing off, being really fast. And of course, I can always go through there and save the results. So if I went through there, I can actually have the students put the real name in. I could actually save the results and actually put this as a gradable item if I wanted to. So that was just kind of a small example of an idea of what mobile technologies is. One of the things that I'm wanting to do is to be able to eventually provide you more statistics on mobile and different devices used here on campus. We don't have that data yet, but I'm hoping in time to be able to give that, and to possibly even one day to be able to say, here's what different departments work. Here's what the School of Nursing looks like. Here's what the School of Architecture. Here's what type of devices are most used. Right now, I want to use this kind of as a very basic overview from Pew Research Center that they've done an ongoing study on the number of mobile phone ownerships over time. In a relatively short time, 12 years, 14 years, we went from normal just calling on a phone right here in about 2012 to almost 70% of all phones people had to smartphones. I would even say this is even higher, but this is polling all adults. So this is not just having a phone, it's having a smartphone that has apps and you're connected to the internet and you're doing multiple things. What's even more interesting is when you look at other device ownership. This is looking at the overall statistics of overall U.S. adults. What type of devices do they have? Tablet computer has jumped up. I would even say most people have gotten rid of their desktop computers and have just maybe a laptop or a tablet. Or maybe just a tablet. So we're getting closer and closer where this computer number is going to eventually go down. And we're going to start seeing more and more devices that are not the traditional type of devices. Even if you look at some of the current products out there now, a Surface Book, they are a tablet and a computer. They're a hybrid. They're kind of both. And that's where we're going to see a lot of technologies of where you can't make the assumption that you have a student with an actual computer with a high-speed internet. I'm amazed that I know students that use a hotspot for their internet at home. Baffles me. How do you Netflix on a hotspot? Don't get it. But we have students out there that do that. What I'm going to be able to do on here is, if you want to follow along, you can actually type this URL. I have an example course that I've set up of different mobile areas. I can add some more stuff down the road. So if you want to, on your phones or on your computers, you can actually go to this URL right now and self-enroll into a course. The course I've created is just kind of an empty shell showing you the different types that mobile looks at. You don't have to follow into this, but what I'm wanting to eventually do is use this course and build off of it. And right now it's at a very basic level, but in time I'm going to build more and more advanced level, more and more tools like Kahoot, saying here's some additional things that you can do on mobile. In this course, I am going to be focusing on, here is what it looks like, your learning looks like using the mobile app. So what I want to focus on is I want you to imagine your students being able to take your course if they only have a tablet. They don't have a computer. They don't have traditional programs. They just have a tablet. Yes?
Can you go back to,
Sure.
you know, when they're going to have Canvas, the app that's actually for the instructor and
They have it. They have Teacher app.
They do now.
Yes.
Okay.
So they have Teacher app. And so here is a teacher app. There still is the parent app because that's for the K through 12 schools, and the parent app. They also have what's called the polls app, which is if you want to create custom polls for your Canvas course, you actually can do that. And you can actually log in on the polls app and actually do live polling with that as well. So there's three apps that you can actually go through and use. For this particular this session, I'm just going to focus on the student app so you can see what that experience is like. But at the very end, I'll show some of the things within the teacher app as well. When you first log in on the app, it looks very different than what you're used to. So for instance, if I go back over here, and I'm looking at my mobile course, this is what it looks like when I jump in on a course using the web browser. But when I go on here to the actual tablet, it looks very much like this. So as you can already see, it's changed how it looks like. So if you're telling students, oh, just click on the top corner icon, it's not there anymore. And so that's just kind of one of those things that you want to realize, that just because things look the way they do on your computer doesn't mean they look the same for everyone else. Because what they do with the mobile app is they basically convert and translate the information into this mobile app so it displays and it looks pretty here. Now, just because you have this mobile app, one of the things that I've actually found out is that most students just use a web browser. And so even though I'm on my tablet here, I'm just going to log in on my tablet and go straight to the course. And as you see, this is going to look just like you do on your web browser. So even though I'm using my tablet, I have two different options to look at my course. When you're looking at announcements, I think announcements are one of the features that if you don't use announcements regularly in your course, I would encourage you to use them, is you can go through here and very easily see all your announcements. I can easily reply back to it, sending a message back to the instructor. I can actually find multiple announcements over here. I would see all the lists there, and I can navigate through them really fast. And it's very similar to what it would look like if I was in the web browser. Clicking on the announcement tool. But you see how it translated for how my tablet displays right here and how much cleaner it looks on the app? So it translates what you're seeing on there and does it. One of the most important things about mobile technologies is Canvas is your friend. Canvas already does things that makes it easy for it to display here. And so when you have people that create, I shouldn't say it like that. When you go through and if you want to create your course and you add a whole bunch of custom scripting, your HTML files, or tables to display items in your course, it actually messes this translation up. And so one of the things I really encourage people is keep it simple, keep it direct, and just use the basic features within Canvas. Don't try to go over the top to make it look certain ways, because you actually end up hurting yourself down the road. Now, one of the common ways that I really encourage people to navigate within their courses is by using the module section. And so one of the things that you'll notice right here in my app, I've actually taken away all the other options up here off to the side. So you don't actually see the documents. You don't actually see the assignments. You just see announcements, modules, syllabus, and grades. This is just my personal preference when I'm in Canvas. I only want them to see the information I want them to see. If I went into the teacher app and logged into the exact same course, I'm going blank. I'll choose this as an example. So if I were to log in as the teacher app, because I'm a teacher and I have the roles, I'm actually going to see all those additional options right here. And so one of the things that's important on here is I'm keeping it clean and organized of what they see on this side. But if I log in as a teacher, I'm going to see all of those. And in order to change this navigation view, it has to be done through the web browser. And does anyone here know where you change that at?
Settings.
Yes. And that's under the settings and navigation. And so one of the things that I'm doing within the mobile is I'm wanting to think ahead from the student's perspective of how do I simplify what they're seeing so that they're not bogged down by the extra information.
Can you go back to where you change it? Where's settings at?
So I am logging in through the web browser. I go to the very bottom of my course, and that's settings.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And this is only going to be visible to those who have our teacher rights to the course. Hit on settings and then click on navigation. And this is where, yes.
As you set up the navigation, it's going to be the same if they're using the online browser versus the app, or are you setting it up differently for the
It's the same. It's the same. And so what I'm thinking is this not only does it clean it up for the web browser, but I'm mainly thinking how do I keep it simple for, in this case, keep it simple for the web browser or for the mobile app.
Sure.
Because I'm one of those weird people that I don't believe of just dump everything in front of them and let them find it. Because I think in that process, they get frustrated, they lose time, and they go, I'm just not going to look. But by keeping it clean and crisp and they go exactly where they're going, they know if I'm looking for course content of week 1, it's in the module week 1. And they know every time that's where I go. Not, oh, it's in the assignment tab. Oh, it's in the files tab. It's over here. It's right there. Yes. Whether it's Google Play or Apple, just search for Canvas app or Canvas or InstructorCom. And you'll be able to see the student, the teacher, or the poll app. So let's go back into the student. And so as I'm saying on here, I want to teach my students that when I'm looking for certain information, I want them to always go to that module tab. I want to go ahead and say, here's that first module. And it's going to list all the modules in the course that are currently available for students. And so that's showing my introduction, my mobile basics, or it could be in your course week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And all they have to do is select which module they want. Then they'll see all the different items inside of that course. Here's how you guys would normally see that logging into your web course. I'm going to just click on home, which is set to the modules page. Here's my introduction. Here's my mobile basics. And here's that. And so it's showing the same information, but it's slightly different converted, just so to be the mobile app friendly. Now let's actually look at what some of the items look like. I'm going to go ahead and I want to create a short poll. So anyone who's actually following the course, you can jump in and see this. And I'm just going to ask them a couple questions. What devices do you currently own? And what devices do you use the most? This is actually created through a Google form that I just embedded into the page. And as you'll see on there, it loads very cleanly and sits right in that page. So I can do a very quick polling online, any device, whether it's web or app, and it loads perfectly clean right here. And that's simply just taking the embed code from Google and putting it in here. So if you wanted to give like a welcome course, or if you wanted to give a sample survey, where are you located, what are your interests on, how many true majors, or so on and so forth, you can do that right here and submit it. And it stays right inside the course. If I want to go back to before, I can either click on the next button down here, or I can go back again and click on the poll result. So this looks very similar to how modules work with inside your course. You see that little next button that the students can push through and get to the next area. So if I wanted to see that, I can actually give the different poll results on here by simply showing the link of the results page, if I wanted to show that. And also, this is just simply putting a graphic on here. Canvas is automatically rendering the way this graphic is showing up. It's doing the hyperlink, it's doing the text, it's doing all that automatically. If I had some tables on here, I might shift things around a little bit. By just using the basic formatting, it's loading it just nice and clean and crisp right here.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
'Cause I feel lost.
Okay.
How'd you get there?
So like, how do I get to...
Did you pull something from Google and then you created a survey? And you
Yes, so
posted it?
what I did on here is I created a Google Sheets, or a Google form.
Okay.
And I went in and created my basic... I'm going to actually show it right here.
You're the student view doing this?
Yes, this is from the student perspective. And so this is how I created the poll. I went into my Google and I said, I want to create this mobile device form. And so here's how I created the item here. Here's my questions, put all this in.
How did you get to that?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then what I went ahead and did is I
So
simply,
like forms.google.com.
yes. And then I went and got my share, yeah.
I think it might be send. Changed it to
Yeah,
be send
send.
recently.
It just said
That's
it.
right, yeah, just click send and then
So that's when I get my embed code. So I created the form. I went in to my actual page using my web browser, clicked on my quick poll. I edited the page, the HTML editor, and just put that code right here.
So pages, HTML editor.
That's 122.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll do that one more time.
Can you, I think maybe what they're asking is start from creating a new form
Okay.
Right from the
so then it doesn't exist already.
So I'm going to start on here. I'm just going to go to new form, more forms.
the best one.
Yes. I'm keeping it very evil and not no.
Maybe. What is baseball? What is baseball?
And so I just went in and went to Google, logged in, clicked on forms, created it. I can also go in here and let's say baseball. Here's the title that shows up here. Here's my format on here. There's a lot of more advanced features. I can go in here and I can change the colors of it. I can change the style of it. I can add photos to it. But I just created a very basic, here's this on here. Click send. You can get my little embed code.
Okay, and then you did what? Copy it? And
Mm-hmm. So I copied it. So then I'm going to go back into my course. And I'm just going to start off in it's going to be my welcome introduction module. And I'm going to hit on the plus sign over here. And I'm going to say, I want to create a new content page. That's my quiz.
So you do that under module?
Yes. So under the module that I want to create it in, I hit the plus sign. And I'm going to do a new page, and I'm just going to go and type in the name of my page. Click on what I just created, and then go in and hit edit. And because I'm using HTML code, I'm going to click on the HTML code editor. And I guess that was a bad example because I went way advanced really fast, so I apologize for that.
And so it brought in that link that you had just copied. Okay.
And so it took this code that is right here for the form and inputted this on right here. One of the reasons why I love Google Sheets, and there's actually another assignment that I'm going to show in a little bit, is because Google Sheets is free and it's available to almost anybody. And it allows people to have their own account that's a little bit different from the university. But being that said, within Office 365, you will see similar features to this. One thing I will preface with this is you have to have a UCD Denver email account to access an Office 365 file. Yes.
So would a good starting place for not just having a place to create a new form like this be to start by going to Google Drive? Because I think that's your tab on your top left.
Yes.
So instead of just saying, hey, go to Google, if the start place is drive.google.com for you, then you can click the new button and decide what you want. Because I didn't even know until actually today, it makes sense, but I didn't know that you could get to forms through there instead of just typing in forms.google.com. So Drive is probably a good starting place, question mark, for deciding what content you want to create and then put in to your canvas.
So I'll take that and say one of the things that with Google Drive that you can do is not only can you create and present, like right now I just showed my PowerPoint on here, but I can also share this with anybody. And so by just going to Google Drive, you automatically will get like 15 gigabytes of files that you can use. And I can create PowerPoints, I can create Word flyers, polls. And so if I just by clicking on new here, it gives me the options to create Google Documents, which is Word files. Google Sheets, which is basically Excel, Google Slides, which is PowerPoint. If I click on more, I can create Google Forms, which is polling and surveys. Google Drawings allows you to actually create small little graphics. You can also create sites and maps, and they have other things that you can actually connect to. Most people who use Google Drive will use Google Docs, slides, and forms. Those are kind of the big things on here. But you can also add any file that you want into this folder and share it too.
If you work for an institution that subscribes to Office 365, would you say the quality is the same
They're
as far as how they interact with Canvas, or would you still prefer Google?
They both work very well. The problem is you have to have a UCD access email.
Yeah, but a lot of institutions subscribe to Office 365, so
It has to be within our domain. You can't share files outside of our domain. So a security setting on our Office 365 is that if I'm opening up to somebody else, they have to have a login for us. I just can't share it to anyone. Now, I can type in someone's email address and share it that way.
Are there any other downsides, though?
Honestly, it's a matter of preference. Nowadays, when it comes to the collaboration, the online tools, you really have three options, and that's Google, Office 365, and iCloud. They all pretty much have the same functionality, and it's really is what do you feel most comfortable with.
Is there polls, like forms equivalent in Office? Because I don't know about it. You don't need. You can just say yes. You don't need to show me. I don't want to waste your time. I'll go find it. But
yeah, their Office 365 has about 40 tools. That's a little bit crazy.
Cool.
Can you show us then, now that you have that embedded HTML thing, then what does the page look like once it's done?
Okay. So I'm going to go back to the course. I put the code in here. It's HTML. I'm going to just hit save and publish. To see it, I'm going to see here's a sample poll right here. And it's just showing right inside of the web browser. And so this is what it looks like from the web browser view of here's the poll. Hit the submit. Here's the next buttons. And then here's what it looks like again from the student app. Of being able to see that there. Yes.
If you copy the link, can you just paste it in under edit?
Yes, that's the same thing that you can do is just put the hyperlink on there and you click it and it opens up a new window.
Okay.
And so by embedding it, I'm going ahead and just putting it in one little spot.
Okay.
And so one of the exercises I'll show next, I actually click it and it opens up and it goes to there. Yes.
So 2 questions, they're kind of tied together. Can you see individual responses based on each person? But then also what FERPA data security and privacy issues do we run into since it's not contained within the UC Denver?
One other thing on there is, that's a great question. The reason why Office 365 is locked down to the domain is for FERPA. It's to make sure that people have access, or the people who has access. Google is wide open. And so it's one of those things on there to where what you use in a collaboration setting, especially online, if it's outside of the canvas, if it's outside of the LMS, there's really no tracking. It's just available. Now I can go look at the log file, but it's not accurate. And so one of the things that you really want to make sure you do is you want to make sure that people are aware of it's online, it's accessible, and everyone can see it. And then you want to make sure your assignment is tailored to that. And so I'll show an example of that a little bit later. But it's one of those things on there to where as long as you inform and you don't have them share personal information or private information, it's okay. One of the case studies I had at a previous institution is they were doing interviews for therapy, and they were sharing it through Google Drive. And I was like, no, you can't do that. Because that is personal and private information that's not only HIPAA, but it's also FERPA. That anyone just has the link and find it. All right, so what I'm going to go ahead on here is I'm going to go back to introduction. I have too many things I'm looking at right now. I'm then going to go on, the next section I want to go through and show is discussion boards. One of the things that I know students most use the mobile app for is actually discussions. And so I'm just going to show you a real example, real quick, what it looks like. And so this is an old-fashioned, I don't know how many hours I've spent playing Snake on this, but this is an old example of, I just went ahead and the same chart I showed you, it's a discussion post now, where I'm going through and saying, hey, take a moment, look at this research growth, opens up a web page. They see that web page where I just showed the graphic where they can go through, skim this on here, and then they're going to go back into the course and then see my prompt down there. So you just read the article, now respond and share it right there. And so this is all done within the app of going through, seeing a typical discussion prompt, and just hitting reply and typing it in. What they also have the ability to do within the mobile app is they all have the ability to not only add hyperlinks via website, so I can just search on Google, Chrome, copy and paste it on here, but I can also click right here on this attachments and add an attachment by clicking on this right corner. So this can be using camera, I can upload a file, or I can attach it from my library. And so I can actually have files through my iCloud that I can share within my courses, or I can take photos and graphics all from right here on my iPad. And when I'm done, all I have to do is hit the enter, and then my response is going to show up right down there. And so this is just one of the things that most students will do this, because they'll get a notification saying a new discussion board has happened. They'll be able to post the reply right here, and it's done all right here in a really simple window. Yes, ma'am?
I'm both a student and a faculty member, but as a student, I've really struggled with using discussion boards on an app. It takes forever for it to load.
Because of the load.
And I always feel like I'm doing something wrong and usually just give up and don't participate until I get to my...
I have to be honest. I am not a fan. I'm not 100% a fan of the Canvas app.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's great, but there are many things that I've constantly let Canvas know. Hey, can you fix this? Can you get on this? And it's one of those things of they're working on it. They're assuring me it's getting better and better. It's a large time, and that's when I see students who will go from here, jump into the web browser.
Right, but that's what I was going to ask. If you go to the web browser, it'll go faster, right?
Yeah, and so it's actually, if you have a long thread that has all this stuff on there, the entire page has to load, and so the browser is just going to be just as slow as this. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you're doing discussion boards. You want to make sure that you don't bog them down with a bunch of audio files, video files, everyone's posting back to it, because then it gets unwieldy. And so that's just the one thing to think about, is if you keep it simple and direct with the mobile app, it's only going to make it better for all of the experiences that you're working with. Yes?
Okay, so I'm like a newbie, all right? So forgive my ignorance, but so if I went into discussion and then I hit the plus sign and create a new discussion, where would topic title, where would that show up? Under the discussion title, right?
So from the faculty side?
No, I'm on the faculty side when I'm creating it.
So this is what it looks like over here. I'm going to switch back to the actual course. Again, I'm going through modules. What I started off on here, introduction, here's how to use a smartphone. I hit the plus sign, and I wanted to create a new discussion. And so I'm adding a discussion post to that module page.
Oh.
And so that's creating it from the faculty side. And then this is how it shows up on the student side. Because students aren't going to see how to create assignments or discussion posts or all of that. They're just going to see how to respond. And I'm going to...
If you want it to be tied to that module, you have to go into the module and create it from there. You can't just click on discussions.
You can, if you have the discussion options down here, you can click on discussions and go through and do it. But because I went through and just said, just show me modules right here, I took the discussion option away. It's over here.
Oh.
Because I wanted everyone to show up on the module section. One last thing I'm going to show, because I want to be respectful of time, is I'm going to go through and show what it looks like with collaboration. One of the things I love about Google Documents is that you can have multiple collaborate on one document. One of the things you have to be careful of is, in order to use Google Documents on an iPad, I have to actually download the app. So if I put a link on here saying, click on this link, and you think, oh, it's just going to open up another web window and I can type it in there, on a tablet, it's not going to work. So if I click on this link right here, it's going to say, hey, you want to make these edits on here, you got to download the app. I can view it, I can't make any edits. So if I create an online collaboration tool using Google Sheets, I actually won't be able to do anything because I have to first download the app. And so I actually can get, the way I have this set up right now is I actually will download the app and it won't work because I've blocked it. And so what I've done is by creating this, I've created a barrier that's preventing a student from being able to access those. And so that's why you want to be very careful of when you're creating assignments and it's making someone download an app or create an account. You want to be aware of actually explaining you will need to download this account. You will need to download or create this. You want to give the instructions, what I call the helper text, that allows them to be successful. And so what I would do is when I'm going through here and explaining this, I would at the very bottom down here say, in order to complete this assignment on an iPad or a mobile device, you will need to download this account and link it to your and log in. And that's going to set them up for success, because otherwise they're going to go, it doesn't work, I can't do it, this is stupid, why am I doing it?
They're going to do that. They're going to do that. They're going to do that.
Yeah.
But you're able to go through and say, I do the students very well, what can I say? So here's the thing I want to show through on this, just because of the time that we have left. It is at 10:30 or 10?
10:30.
Okay. I'm actually going to go ahead and jump into my Google Documents and actually show you this document. Oh, that's the schedule. No, 10:15.
Wait, what?
10:15.
Well, you're over at 10:15 for the next session.
Yes. Well, I don't want to take all the time.
Well, I mean, give me 5 for potty.
And so I'm going to go ahead and jump into this collaboration document right here. What I love about Google Documents, and this is my selling point for this, is if you want to explore it, what this allows people to do is multiple people can be typing on the same document at the same time. So I can create individual responses that everyone can see kind of as a group discussion, or I can actually create a group assignment prompt that everyone can work on together. Now, what's good about this is it actually has a revision history. So I can see when things change. So if someone goes in there and just deletes everything, I can go to revision history, undo, and go back and find it. But you kind of do this as an idea of you create assignments that you want to phrase is available for group work, open for discussion, everyone can see this. Don't share personal information unless you want to. Then they have the option of doing this. What this allows people to do is no matter what time they do this, where they're located, they can all contribute into the same document. And this is done on either my computer or using the iPad right here. And so one of the things that's great is all I have to do is hit on the edit icon, and I can edit all I want right here. Someone can also be on the web browser also editing the same thing. And you just kind of get more of a collaborative feel back and forth of your working together to complete assignments. And so you're able to do group work online by using this tool.
I recommend that over using like the groups function in Canvas, because I found that to be real clunky.
The biggest thing is, yes, it's clunky. Groups will always be clunky in an LMS. This is always going to be open and wide and free. And that's dangerous. It's open, wide, and free. And so it's kind of one of those things you have to be more intentional on how you develop your courses, and that you have to understand, is this going to be something that you're going to assign this person this part, this person this part, and they're going to share it? Or can I just create the assignment, they do it, send it in together, and I'm done? Because it's like a fall group work. You might have one person doing all the work.
Yeah.
And because of the way this is done, I can't really track who's doing all the work. Now, you might be able to do some sleuthing and navigating and say, oh, no, I know that's person. But it's an idea of this is a way that you can go through and do it. I know this was a very basic overview of what mobile technologies can look like. To me, this is step one of about 50 that I eventually want to do and actually be more targeted. I want to encourage you guys, if you have a chance, if you have a tablet or a phone, grab the app. Go into your course using your phone just to see what it looks like, just to see how it is experienced. Because one day, we're going to be able to actually do a paper assignment by submitting a URL. And I'm just going to throw that out there. That's going to scare some people. But if I wanted to, I could actually submit using a URL. So on my tablet, I could actually type in Google Sheets, type it over, use that URL, post it right in here. Canvas will take that, import it, and allow you to grade it. So you can actually do your entire word processing without having an actual computer. I think we're a little bit far off from that because I think students are actually kind of wise to stay away from it, but we're getting closer and closer to them actually being able to do that.
And then we can go in and do SpeedGrader on our phones?
Yes.
On the same exact other side
Yes.
of that?
So on the teacher app, I can actually go in on assignments, look at papers, and view my grade. I didn't have this one set up right. Yes, Speed Grader is on the app, and you can go through and actually grade them, draw on them, make notations, and go through that way. Are there any questions? I know I just entered the very introduction of the mobile app. Are there any questions, any other things I can help before I just totally confused
Can
everyone?
we have a class like a day or a half a day of this? Because there's so much.
Yes.
I feel like my head is woo.
The goal is I want to eventually build
So
out this
fast.
course so that there's a basic introduction like what I've just done here, and then actually go through and say, here's how you do this assignment. Here's how you do this assignment. Here's how you actually use Kahoot. Here's how you use Slide Reader. Here's how you use these different tools that are online. And they're all web-based, but they can integrate it to also work here and everywhere. And so it's definitely going to be a several-year process. But we're going to have that available with all the trainings that we do for CU Online. It'll be available for self-paced trainings that you can take and to go through and do that. One thing that I want to close off and say is one of the reasons why I love CU Online is our most important mission is to help you as faculty. So if there's any kind of experiencing that you want to try to do with the mobile apps, feel free to email me, reach out to me, and I'll be happy to help with you one-on-one. The most important thing about mobile technology is just because we can doesn't mean we should. And so I want to be very intentional of actually of having a discussion and conversation and saying, what are you trying to do? Let's find the right tool and walk through it all in a way that's not going to make your students frustrated, that's not going to make you frustrated. And so that is the absolute most important thing about mobile technology is use what's going to work and what's going to make you successful. We are out of time. I want to encourage you guys, if you fill out the surveys, let me know how terrible or how awesome I am. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day at the symposium. Thank you so much for being amazing teachers or faculty.
Thank you.
I've been told that that's the hashtag. I don't fully believe it, but that's what I was told, and so that's what I've been using.
Thank you.
It's trending. It's trending.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a couple that everything's wrong.
Yes.
That's what I like.
I tried to, but I got there too late, so I am going to be back.
Oh wait, I think I did.
Yeah.